Here's a Did You Know on the shocking details of the Lady of Blues, Billie Holiday.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Still not understanding.
Eleanor Fagan, born April 7, 1915. Did you know Billie Holiday's father was a jazz musician? It was said her dad left the family when she was very young to be more involved in his career. But others said he left because he felt that Billie wasn't his child. As if that wasn't bad enough for the little girl, her mother gave her away to her sister because she couldn't afford taking care of her. After a while, her aunt felt like she couldn't take care of the poor child too. So she gave her up to her mother-in-law, her husband's mother. She barely took care of the child's well-being. So at the age of 9, Billie was taken away to a girl's home. Billie said she was treated poorly at the girl's home, being bullied by the girls and also adults. Billie ended up moving back with her mother, working alongside of her at a restaurant. The job didn't last long, so her and her mother started cleaning rich people's houses. Here's a little backstory. Billie was SA'd at the age of 12. Her mom caught the man in the act of SA'ing her daughter. The police got involved and arrested the man. And the police took Billie back to the girls' group for punishment. She ended up getting out of the group home and back working with her mom. Billie and her mom moved to Harlem and moved in with a friend. And this friend so happened to be running a whorehouse. Billie's mom ended up becoming one of the workers after seeing all this fast money. And unfortunately, little Billie was partaking in the whole situation. And she was underage, y'all. She was very young. After a while, the house had got raided. The police arrested Billie and her mother, and they was sent to prison. After a while, Billie and her mother got released. They was starting from scratch, and they didn't have nothing to their name. They was dirt poor. Out of desperation, Billie had entered a club and asked for a job. The owner asked her if she could sing. She said yes. So she went up on stage, and she started to sing. She said she brought the whole crowd to tears, and that she was hired on the spot. After a while, she was doing so well at the club that Billie and her mom bought a house. Around this time, Billie changed her name from Eleanor to Billie Holiday. Her singing at the club started to bring her fame. She was then cast in a movie and doing collabs with many other famous musicians. This was when she started to be a little big-headed, and people started saying she was difficult to work with. So she burned a lot of bridges with a lot of people. It didn't help when race started to come into play, and that's one thing she didn't stand for. The white audience loved her performance, but they didn't want her mingling with them. Can somebody please make it make sense? It was said that Billie Holiday was very promiscuous, and she didn't discriminate when it comes to bringing it to the bedroom. Her second husband, Joe, who played the trumpet, this was one of the most toxic relationships anybody could be in. The marriage played a big part in sex and drugs, and also domestic violence. The main drug that they consumed was heroin. Billie gotten so addicted to this drug so bad that she couldn't function without it. She refused to go on stage without getting a hit. Thankfully, her manager convinced her to check into rehab. She finished her stay, and her people was so proud of her until they found out the nurse that was working there was giving her drugs. Police had gotten tips on Billie's heavily drug use, so they searched her place, and sure enough, they found drugs. She was arrested and was sentenced to a year in prison. After serving 9 months in prison, she was right back on drugs. Because of her charge, she was banned to be near any bars or clubs that served alcohol. Because of that, Billie started to struggle financially. Billie started dating and was in horrible toxic relationships with men that abused her physically and mentally. Billie traveled to Europe, and the people there loved her. She started to be on TV and performing, just doing what she loved to do. She came back to America and went right back to her reckless lifestyle. After a while, her health started to decline due to drugs and alcohol. She was placed into the hospital, diagnosed with liver failure. While her nurse was doing care on her, she found drugs on her. So the hospital called the police, and she ended up getting the other charge while on her deathbed. July 17th, 1959, Billie Holiday passed away at the age of 44. It's pretty sad that her addiction outshined her fight for racial justice. One thing people don't know about Billie Holiday was that she was a protest singer. Billie Holiday's commitment to fight racial injustice arose from her personal tragedies and multiple traumas she experienced in her life, with her being denied medical treatment due to her race and prejudice. If you want to go more in depth on her life, watch this movie right here on Hulu. It goes really, really deep. There are several other movies on her, like a documentary on her, but I think this one it goes deep with everything, with the police planning drugs on her and trying to get her arrested because, they was against this whole protest thing that was going on back then. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, and I'll really, really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Ay, still not understanding.